Oh boy, this is my 50th video. I have officially been making these things for an entire year. For anyone just tuning in now, let me recap everything you've missed. Five Nights at Freddy's is a scary game. Canadian foods are foods that Canadians like. Your parents' cousins are your cousins once removed, not your second cousins. There's nothing wrong with sleeping in your clothes. Dutch people eat a lot of weird food. Allowing Canadians to get knighthoods is a terrible, elitist idea. The NDP won the 2015 Alberta election because the right was divided. It is possible to hack Super Mario Bros. 3 to play as the boot everywhere, but you probably shouldn't. Britain is also very divided politically. MREs are surprisingly filling. Most racism and sexism in video games can be blamed on the Japanese. Procter & Gamble is not associated with Satan despite what their terrible logo might imply. It is impossible to come up with a non-arbitrary standard for deciding who should get into political debates. Subliminal messages in TV shows and movies don't work but are still fairly common. Snickers and Chupa Chups have sponsored some terrible video games.
Making your phone read to you is a good way to passively absorb information.
The tiny nation of San Marino is run by a pair of communist captains. If an emoji is weird, it's probably based on something from Japan. The Greek economy is in shambles because their government abused a low interest rate. France was still guillotining people into the 1970s. Your life will be better if you stay off Reddit. Soylent is surprisingly filling. The 2015 Canadian election could go either way. You can be president even if you were born outside of the United States. Last summer, I ruptured my Achilles tendon and it sucked. The McDonald's characters are all a product of copyright infringement. A lot of weird stuff is going on in the English-speaking world right now. There exists a video game in which you can play as the old president of South Africa. I once met Prime Minister Stephen Harper of Canada. Prime Minister Stephen Harper of Canada lost his bid for a fourth term, saying a boot is an example of Canadian raising. Justin Trudeau was sworn in as the new Prime Minister of Canada in a weird ceremony. I hate Movember because it makes fun of mustaches. People who argue on the internet are very predictable. The British pound sign stands for Libra. Cardigans are named after someone. The Google campus is less impressive than you might expect. Undertale was the best game of 2015. The Noid was discontinued after a hostage crisis. Canada has more arsonists than America. The only Canadians who drink milk out of bags are stupid people from Ontario. The entire Canadian political system is pretty much garbage. Cartoon robbers are actually supposed to be sailors. There is no good explanation for why the Toronto Maple Leafs are called what they are. I have friends across the English-speaking world. Canadian judges dress like Santa Claus. It's possible Nancy Pelosi could wind up as president. The old flag of Brazil looked like a counterfeit American one. Justin Trudeau is less impressive than he seems. I made 50 videos.